Welcome to our deep dive on the FSA Orthodontia payment timing loophole. In this video, we will explore how multi-year orthodontic treatments can be strategically aligned with flexible spending account plan years to maximize tax savings. First, we will set the stage, then explain the core timing rule, followed by examples, a step-by-step plan, and key warnings you should know. Let's begin. Here's our roadmap. First, we'll cover the context and the key question. Next, we'll define when an expense is considered incurred. Then, we'll show how orthodontia contracts can change the timing. After that, we'll walk through a practical step-by-step strategy. We'll also review a numerical example, compare administrator rules, and highlight pitfalls. Finally, we'll test your understanding with a couple of quick quizzes before we wrap up. Orthodontia is expensive and typically spans multiple calendar years. Because FSAs are use it or lose it and capped annually, timing payments can unlock substantial tax savings across 2 or more plan years. The crucial issue is determining when an expense is considered incurred for FSA purposes. With that in mind, let's move into the foundational rule. This video is for educational purposes only. It is not tax, legal, accounting, or benefits advice. Employer plans vary, administrators differ, and IRS limits and rules change. Always read your plan document and confirm details with your plan administrator before making elections or timing payments. Now, with that caution in mind, let's define when an expense is considered incurred. Under most medical claims, an expense is incurred on the date the service is provided. However, orthodontia often uses a fixed-fee contract with scheduled installment payments over time. Some administrators treat each contractually scheduled payment date as the date the expense is incurred, meaning you must use FSA funds from the plan year in which that installment is billed. Therefore, if your provider bills a scheduled installment in plan year 2, that payment typically must be paid with plan year 2 FSA funds, even if treatment began in plan year 1. Next, we'll look specifically at how this creates a planning opportunity. Orthodontia typically involves a fixed total cost paid in installments. If your administrator recognizes the contract schedule, each billed installment is considered incurred on the billing date. This means you can align installments across multiple plan years to leverage multiple annual FSA elections. However, this depends entirely on your plan's rules. Some administrators still require that payments correspond to services actually performed within the plan year. Therefore, you must confirm your plan's position before you commit to contributions. Now let's visualize how to structure a multi-year plan. This Gantt chart separates contribution periods from installment billing periods across 2 plan years. It starts with the banding milestone early in year 1, shows monthly installments billed from February to December in year 1, and continues with monthly installments billed January through December in year 2. In parallel, it shows how FSA contributions can be elected in each plan year and aligned with the installments. The visual emphasis is that billed installments in each plan year should be matched with that plan year's FSA funds if your administrator recognizes the contractual billing date as the incurred date. With the structure in mind, let's move into a practical step-by-step plan you can follow. Start by confirming your plan rules with your administrator. Ask specifically whether orthodontia expenses are considered incurred on the scheduled payment obligation date or only when services are performed. Then obtain a written orthodontia contract that clearly outlines the total fee and the monthly installment schedule. Coordinate with your provider to ensure installments span at least 2 plan years if allowed. Next, align your annual FSA or LPFSA elections with the amounts you expect to be billed in each plan year. Gather documentation, including the contract, itemized billing statements, and proof of each billed installment. Submit claims each year with the appropriate documents, making sure you meet run-out deadlines and understand any grace period or carryover provisions. Finally, recheck IRS limits and your plan's specific rules before each open enrollment to keep the strategy on track. Now, to make the concept concrete, let's walk through illustrative numbers. This example assumes a $6,000 orthodontia case billed as $3,000 in year 1 and $3,000 in year 2. The FSA election is $3,200 each year, but only $3,000 is used for orthodontia in each year, matching the billed installments. Assuming a combined marginal tax rate of 30%, pre-tax spending of $3,000 per year yields an estimated $900 in tax savings per year, or $1,800 total across both years. These figures are illustrative only. IRS limits change, and your actual savings depend on your tax situation and plan rules. Next, let's compare how different administrator rules affect claims. There are two common interpretations. Under the service performed rule, the expense is incurred when services are actually performed. Your claim must match service dates within the plan year, and installments may be denied if they don't align with those service dates. This makes multi-year optimization more limited. Under the payment obligation rule, the expense is incurred on the contractually scheduled billing date. Each installment billed in a new plan year can be paid with that plan year's FSA funds. This enables planning across multiple years, provided the contract is clear and documentation is submitted. Always verify which rule your administrator applies before you elect contributions. Now, let's check your understanding with a quick quiz. Question: if your orthodontist bills a scheduled installment during plan year 2 and your administrator recognizes contractual billing dates as the incurred expense, which FSA funds should you use? Options: A. Plan year 1 funds. B. Plan year 2 funds. C. Either year's funds, your choice, or D. You cannot use FSA funds at all. You may pause the video now to think about the answer. We will discuss the answer in the next section of the video. The correct answer is Plan Year 2 funds. If the administrator treats the contractual billing date as the incurred date, you must use the FSA dollars from the plan year in which the installment is billed. Let's move to one more question about risk management. Question: before increasing your FSA election to split orthodontia across 2 years, what is the single most important thing to confirm? Options: A. Your orthodontist's office hours. B. Whether your plan requires services performed versus accepts scheduled billing dates. C. The brand of brackets used. Or D. Which credit card has the best cashback rewards? You may pause the video now to think about the answer. We will discuss the answer in the next section of the video. The correct answer is to confirm your plan's definition of when an orthodontia expense is incurred, specifically whether it requires services performed or accepts scheduled billing dates. This verification helps prevent overcontribution and potential forfeiture. Now let's consolidate the major tips and cautions. Key tips include documenting the contract, installment schedule, itemized statements, and evidence of billing and payment. Align your annual election to what will be billed in that plan year, not simply the total treatment cost. Track runout deadlines, grace periods, and carryover rules to avoid losing funds. For limited purpose FSAs, orthodontia typically qualifies because it is dental. Avoid prepaying beyond the contract terms, as claims may be denied. IRS limits can change, so verify before each open enrollment. If anything is unclear, ask your administrator for written confirmation. Use this actionable checklist to operationalize the strategy. Read the plan document, confirm the incurred expense rule with your administrator, and secure a written orthodontia contract that clearly lists installment dates. Map billed amounts by month and plan year, then set FSA elections to match those amounts. Keep all statements and receipts and submit them alongside a copy of the contract. Finally, track runout and grace deadlines. Set reminders, and re-verify IRS limits each enrollment cycle. Next, let's wrap up with a concise summary. To summarize, orthodontia presents a unique timing opportunity because the incurred date may be tied to the contract's scheduled billing dates. By splitting installments across plan years, you may leverage multiple annual FSA maximums. However, rules vary by administrator and plan, so confirm first to avoid forfeitures. Document your case thoroughly and submit clean claims on time. In short, plan aggressively, but verify meticulously. Now, one last thing before we close. Thanks for watching. If you found this useful, please like the video, share it with someone planning orthodontic treatment, and subscribe for more practical strategies. Drop your questions or experiences in the comments so we can help and learn from each other.